Welcome to the Comic Book Time podcast for July 17th. My name is Aaron, and I'll be your host for this podcast. So, here's the deal. If you want to see the books that I'm going to review, you can either watch it from start to finish, just like a playlist, or you can click the annotations on the screen in the form of comic book covers. Say if you want to click like All New X-Men issue number 14, you click the comic book cover and it'll take you to that point in the video. So get to it and enjoy. So our first comic book is Batman, issue number 3. Still written by Jeff Parker and with art by Jonathan Case. This is the digital issue, which is the final digital issue, not the Batman 66 issue number 1 that's coming out in print that you can get in your comic book stores this week. I've been doing the digital issues for I think the past couple weeks, up into the release of print today. So I will be reviewing the third part of the Riddler's Ruse. So keep that in mind. I may do a Batman issue number 1, like print version video. Maybe. That might happen. But anyways, let's get on to the third part of the Riddler's Ruse. So from the last issue, we saw that the Meow Wow Wow Club, I believe, was basically blown up by the Riddler because there was a bomb in the Lady Gotham statue. And we see the fallout of that. Batman and Robin and Catwoman and everyone in the club are fine. And Batman, I'll actually post there's a line that he says during that scene, which I found hilarious. But anyways, after that, Catwoman gets taken to the Batcave, and Batman, Robin, and Catwoman work together to take down the Riddler. We figure out where the third piece, the third sculpture that the Riddler is trying to get. So Batman duplicates a replica, and he uses a Bat 3-dimensional they're basically saying it's a Batman 3D printer, which I found hilarious. So anyways, they use that to track down where the next item is, and then ultimately they take down the Riddler. So I'll get to the good and the bad. The good, art is great. It's really colorful, really good uses of art. What else? It definitely feels like you're watching the TV show, from the writing, from even the transitions, like when he punches, the cracks and the kaboom. Different stuff like that really makes this comic book great. And I'm really excited for the next issue. We're going to have Penguin and Mr. Freeze. But honestly, there wasn't really anything bad about this issue. I'm really starting to enjoy this series. I'm going to give Batman issue number 3, or Batman 66 issue number 3, a 4.5 out of 5. Pick this up. Our next comic book is Justice League of America issue number 6, which is part 2 of the Trinity War. And this is the second piece of the cover. And then next week, soon we shall see the third and final piece. Oh, never mind. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's get on with the comic book reviews. So, the main, synopsis of this issue is we're dealing with the fallout of the first part of the Trinity War. And spoiler alert, Superman kills Dr. Light, basically fries him to death. And we're dealing with the fight after that. And everyone's freaking out, they're wondering, they're just why did Superman doesn't kill people? He doesn't just randomly kill someone, especially not someone like, Dr. Light, who just, new on the scene, just comes out and just, I'm Dr. Light, I'm just going to, you're under arrest, and then just boom, dead. So he's freaking out about that, and I think at one point Superman stops the fight by doing a fucking Hulk smash. He basically pummels the ground and earthquake happens, and it's essentially everyone stops and they go back to the Argus medical labs. They get patched up. They try to talk this out, and while that's happening, Batman's trying to figure out what the hell is happening to Superman, and Wonder Woman tries to tell, basically, you know what? I'm not even gonna spoil that plot point. But anyways, Wonder Woman goes on her own tangent to go and figure out other reasons why Superman might be acting this way, and why he might be losing control. And a certain character gets introduced. He kind of inserts himself into the actual comic, and I think he's a fan favorite, or at least I'm a fan of him. But you'll know who I'm talking about. He's actually in the beginning of this comic. But anyway, I know people first issue, they were like, oh, where's Justice League Dark? Boom! Now you have Justice League Dark. So it's nice to see them make an appearance, and I definitely enjoyed this issue. The only bad is that really the art wasn't as consistent as the other ones. But regardless, I'm going to give this issue, Justice League of America, issue number 6, a 4 out of 5. I gave it a 4 out of 5, as opposed to the first issue, which I gave it 5 out of 5. I felt like the artist put more effort in specific panels, but in some of the other panels, not so much. And it was disappointing. But what was not disappointing was the writing. Jeff Johns, Jeff Lemire, two of the best in that DC has right now. And it really shows, and I'm definitely enjoying their writing. The plot is thickening very well, and I'm so hyped to pick up the next issue. It's going to be Justice League Dark title, so definitely pick this up. Trinity War it's on a roll. And our next comic book is Superior Carnage, issue number 1. As you can see, the cover of Superior Carnage is actually it's kind of almost a kind of a nod to the Superior Spider-Man issue number 1 cover. So that's always interesting to see. This is Superior Month, so we are coming out with new Superior titles. So let's talk about the plot. We meet up with this guy, I believe his name Ken Connolly, and he's a newly found prisoner. He hasn't done really anything wrong, except for maybe a couple of I think maybe some fraud or gambling, but he's not important. He's kind of like a storytelling device, and he tells us that the main character, obviously Curtis Cassidy, is taken in by Flash Thompson Venom, and then we after we know that he's in the jail, there's a prison riot that comes out, inevitable prison riot that comes out, and Carnage breaks free. And while that's happening, behind the scenes, we sort of see a mysterious character. And while Carnage is killing all the prisoners and being Carnage, who's pulling the plugs? None other than the Wizard. So the Wizard is mind controlling a bunch of guards, and he's basically explaining his evil plan to them for some reason, which I found interesting. But once he explains his plan, saying that the government is using symbiotes, turning symbiotes into good, like people, like Venom is technically good, because the Flash Thompson one. So he basically wants to mind control Venom or Carnage and use him as his mind control super soldier. But unfortunately, something happens to a certain character, maybe at Carnage, maybe the Wizard. You'll just have to see to find out. Art was good, really good. I mean, I'm definitely impressed with the art. Definitely keep the artist on. And the writing was funny. I felt like there was a little bit too much references. Wizard was looking at the riot, and he was like, "Oh, this is bloodier than Game of Thrones." I was like, "Oh yeah, this is topical." I said to myself and to the writer. Angry emails. But anyways, I'm going to give Superior Carnage issue number 1 a 4 out of 5. I was actually surprisingly pleased with this series, or this first issue. And it's only this is only 1 out of 5 issues, so it's only like a limited series run. So there's a low risk. It's not going to be an ongoing, so you don't have to buy it more than 5. So definitely check it out. And our next comic book is All New X-Men, issue number 14, still being written by Brian Michael Bendis, with art by Stuart Immonen. So from the last issue, we have this huge fight that's the beginning, like the very beginning of a huge fight between Mystique and our original X-Men, and it ended with a cliffhanger of Jean, sort of taking the form of Dark Phoenix, which made fans very suspicious. So, anyways, the basic gist of this actual issue is it's the huge battle that happens between Mystique, her gang. So that's Sabretooth, you know, basically her gang, and then we have versus the original X-Men. So this huge battle happens, and the issue is just a long, drawn-out battle scene, and with a couple of scenes at the very end, which you could call cliffhangers, but they're more kind of like comments on what happened in the big fight. See, the thing about this fight that did well is two things. Certain events happen that will make you question whether or not they're real because they happen at multiple times. I don't want to spoil it because it kind of comes as a shock to the reader. I was really confused at some points. I was like, this person shows up, and then these people show up, and then they're not there, or they are there, and some comedy comes out of it, but also some drama comes out of it. And basically, the one fight scene that we have in this, the reason why it's good is because it has a lot of action, and 2, it's really interesting and sometimes funny, and just to see how the characters react to like the battles that they're having. So at one point, Jean Grey just makes the enemies like Silver Samurai just like fall asleep, and it's funny to see everyone react, or even Logan's like, oh, that was easy. Different stuff like that made the fight fun, and then we have different appearances from people that I can't mention because I definitely want you as the reader to experience what that is or who those people are. Again, some might not be real, some might be real, so hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler. But writing was good. The art was good as usual. Stuart Immonen just doing really good, consistent art, solid as usual. Oh man, the color, whoever the inker is, you, sir or madam, are fucking amazing. And I love your color tone. It's amazing. And the only bad is that the ending was kind of meh. But still, I'm enjoying All New X-Men, so I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Alright, so our last comic book of the week is Deadpool, issue number 13. This is kind of a filler issue from the last issue, which was issue number 12, which ended the, kind of like, quote, story, Soul Hunter arc, I guess. But anyways, now we get another blast from the past, and this is Deadpool in New York in the 1977, or in the 70s, late 70s. And we see a kind of young Deadpool with a nice afro, and he is essentially trying to become a hero for hire. He sees an ad in the daily paper, and he goes and joins up with Power Man, aka Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and they go and help a family, which are the I believe it's this maybe a Spanish or Mexican family called the Camachos. Yes, of course. Yeah, the Camachos. They help this family, and Mrs. Camacho, her wife has been killed by this new gang, and the gang that they decided to call is led by none other than a pimp named the White Man. So you can see where all this is going. So Deadpool, Power Man, and Iron Fist team up together and figure out a way to capture the White Man, or take him out. So they're going up against him, and honestly, this comic book was really funny. I actually really enjoyed it. So we can talk about the good, the writing. Brian Posehn, and I believe he's joined by another guest writer. They do a really good job at doing the dialogue in like a 70s feel, and this definitely does feel really, really campy, and definitely from the 70s. And there's some really good Deadpool moments, and there's also a lot of running gags that are really good. This is, I think, a 26-page book, I think, and there's a lot of dialogue, just like older books have a lot of dialogue, and this was chock full of dialogue. It took me a couple more minutes to read this. There was a lot of content in here, which I definitely enjoyed. So another good part is the way the comic book is actually presented, both the art and how the pages look. Everything from the besides the title, which is the cover, the Talkin' Jive and Taking Lives cover where Deadpool's holding the gun. Besides that, and the page with the fan mail on it at the beginning, everything else, every single page has kind of like a tint, almost like you're finding it in an old like bargain bin. So that's very interesting and authentic. The pages look, kind of like aged and worn out. And honestly, what made this comic book good is the writing and the art. Everything was really good, like surprisingly good. You're like, wow, this is actually pretty funny. Bad, nothing really. I mean, the only bad I would say is that is this comic book going to lead into the next arc? I think it might, because the next cover actually has the White Man on it in the future, and it says Back to the Past or Back to the Present. So I think they're gonna incorporate the White Man villain into the next story arc. So I really enjoyed Deadpool issue number 13, and I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Deadpool was surprisingly good this week. And that's it for the Comic Book Time podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you want to check out the previous podcast to this, definitely go check it out. The featured book in the Comic Book Time podcast for July 10th is Sheltered, issue number 1. As you can see there in custom thumbnail, so make sure to click that annotation. Also, San Diego Comic-Con 2013. Definitely tell me what you think. How's it going? What are your hopes? Your dreams? What do you want to see announced? Are you excited? I'm excited. I want to see some awesome announcements. The news is going to be great. I'm really excited for some of the movie announcements. Hopefully we'll get some movies and movie announcements that we just come out of left field. Example, Doctor Strange movie. I've been hearing some rumors about a Batman Beyond movie. That'd be definitely interesting. So even more movies, even in movies that exist, we're going to see some new trailers, and I'm really excited. Super hyped. And I hope you are. Well, thanks for watching the Comic Book Time podcast, and as always, I'll see you next time.